The grandfather clock in Mary Peterson's living room hadn't chimed in 3 years. It stood silent in the corner of her modest Minneapolis home, its pendulum motionless behind dusty glass, frozen at 4:17. She couldn't remember if it was afternoon or morning when it stopped, just that it was the same day her youngest son, Michael, had last visited. He'd promised to get it fixed. "Next time, Mom, I'll bring my tools." But like the clock, that promise remained suspended in time. Mary sat in her worn leather armchair, the one her late husband Charles had spent countless Sunday afternoons in, watching football games and dozing off. The evening light filtered through lace curtains she'd hung 40 years ago, casting familiar shadows on the faded wallpaper. At 78, she found herself counting shadows instead of blessings. The house was too big for one person. 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, a finished basement where her children once played. Now it felt like a museum of abandoned memories. Photos lined the walls, graduation ceremonies, weddings, family vacations. 3 children who had grown up, grown successful, and grown distant. Sarah, the eldest, a cardiologist in Boston. James, the middle child, a tech executive in Seattle. And Michael, the baby of the family, a real estate developer just 40 minutes away in St. Paul. The irony wasn't lost on Mary that her children had all built careers around caring for hearts, building connections and developing homes, yet somehow had forgotten about the heart, connection, and home that had shaped their beginnings. She picked up her phone, a simplified model that Sarah had insisted she get for emergencies, and scrolled through her recent calls. The last incoming call from any of her children had been 2 months ago, a brief conversation with James about his need for her to sign some paperwork regarding the family trust. Before that, 3 unanswered calls to Sarah's office. Michael hadn't called since Christmas, when he'd left a voicemail saying he and his wife Jenny would be spending the holidays at Jenny's parents' vacation home in Aspen. The evening news droned on in the background, stories of world events that seemed increasingly distant from her shrinking world. A commercial for a retirement community played, showing smiling seniors playing cards and doing water aerobics. Mary had once suggested to her children that she might enjoy such a place, somewhere with people her age, activities, a community. Sarah had immediately dismissed it as too expensive. James had mumbled something about looking into it, and Michael had changed the subject entirely. A sharp pain in her hip reminded Mary it was time for her medication. She pushed herself up from Charles's chair, using the solid